everything.
Wilder says this disruption has also affected her children. Questions about whether or not her son would be able to get to classes at Marquette High School, where he was just accepted. And looking nationally now, as the city of Nashville mourns the 6 victims of America's latest school shooting, growing questions about how the shooter was able to legally acquire 7 firearms despite being under care for an emotional disorder. ABC News Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas has more from Washington.
Here we have another case where an increasingly suicidal and dangerous person is left with access to guns with nothing to stop them from going on a killing spree. Again, no connecting of dots.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Signing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:03.
Carjackings, theft, shootings. Crime in Milwaukee is soaring. Criminals are being put back on the streets by liberal judges like Janet Protasewicz, who care more about woke politics than law and order. Too often, liberal Judge Janet Protasewicz has refused to put convicted felons behind bars, only for them to re-offend. And Judge Janet says she has no regrets, while our communities suffer consequences. There's only one candidate in Wisconsin's Supreme Court race that puts the law before politics and victims over criminals. That's constitutional conservative Dan Kelly. Dan Kelly is endorsed by law enforcement and can be trusted to restore law and order. We can't afford to let woke liberal Judge Janet Protasewicz on our highest court. It's time to take back our streets, restore law and order, and vote conservative Dan Kelly for Wisconsin Supreme Court. Fair Courts America paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidate's agent or committee. FairCourtsAmerica.org.
The famous Fox and Hounds restaurant is one of Wisconsin's premier dining destinations. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Fox and Hounds. The food is world class. GM Sally and her staff are wonderful, and your second dinner is always free. The Fox and Hounds has won top choice awards for the best in fine dining, most romantic restaurant, and best Sunday brunch. It is the best. It's one of our favorite places. Tonight's Prime Rib Wednesday. Order 1 prime rib dinner. Your second is free, and the prime rib, fabulous. Or enjoy a great steak dinner, the Northwoods pan-fried walleye, pasta, your favorite salad, anything on the menu. Your second dinner is free. Desserts and ice cream drinks, don't want to miss these. Buy one, get one free. If you want a fun job and you want to make real money, work at the Fox and Hounds. New servers, busters, and hostesses are valued. Inquire today, start next week. Tell your kids, I love the staff at the Fox and Hounds. Wherever you live, it's worth that beautiful drive tonight to the Fox and Hounds restaurant for your free prime rib dinner. I love the Fox and Hounds.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
Wisconsin Badgers saw their season come to an end on Tuesday evening after going scoreless in the last 9 minutes of the NIT semifinals, and they fall to North Texas 56-54. Chucky Hepburn led the Badgers in scoring with 15 points, and Wisconsin ends the season with 20 wins. And over to the NBA, where the Milwaukee Bucks are currently nursing a 2.5-game lead for the top spot in the Eastern Conference over the Boston Celtics, and they are back at it tonight in Indiana visiting the Pacers. Tip-off is set for 6 p.m. You can catch full coverage right here on WTMJ beginning at 5:30. And finally, spring training is all done for the Brewers as they win in their finale 8-1 over the Colorado Rockies. Freddie Peralta got the start, going 4 2/3 innings, allowing no runs and striking out 5. Both Luke Voigt and Jesse Winker homered for the Brew Crew as they now look ahead to the regular season opener in Chicago on Thursday. First pitch is set for 1:20. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
And from the WTMJ Traffic Center, back to no delays on the road. Everything should be all clear for your commute.
Traffic is sponsored by Harwood Place Senior Living. Learn more about Harwood Place Retirement Living's newly renovated apartments and updated pricing options at their April 1st open house. To RSVP or to schedule a tour, visit harwoodplace.org.
And here's your WTMJ forecast. Today, possible morning snow becoming sunny and breezy with a high of 36. Tonight, clear skies with a low of 22 at the lake and 16 inland. Tomorrow, increasing clouds, snow and rain late, breezy with a high of 48. In Milwaukee, it is 32 degrees. I'm Finn Askin, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:07.
Breaking down the biggest stories, talking about what really matters, and bringing you the biggest forum to let your voice be heard. Now, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, here's Steve Scafidi.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday edition, Hump Day, if you still use that term.
middle of the week. For those of us who work Monday through Friday, that would be me. Monday through Friday, 9 to noon, right here in WTMJ. Producer Brandon in the producer's chair after a stint as big-time sports guy on the morning, Wisconsin's Morning News with Vince and the vacationing Eric Vilstead. I think I've gotten all the formalities out of the way. Well, one more, actually. I'm going to get to this topic at 9:35, but I want to give you a heads up. So lots of the conversation on the latest mass shooting, school shooting story, this one from Nashville. Private Christian school, 3 kids dead, 3 adults, is a hard pivot. Well, 2 things are happening. A hard pivot to mental health versus guns, and many lawmakers saying not much we can do here. Hands up, price of freedom, all that. So we'll get to that at 9:35, but I made it my show poll today. You can find it on Twitter, and I just found out, actually, this is kind of breaking news on the Twitter front, that I may not be able to do show polls after the 15th of April. Apparently they're making some changes there. Elon Muskie, to use a Northwoods twist on his name, has basically said, unless you're verified, you can't respond to polls, which would kind of shoot down the idea of just anyone being able to contribute to the poll question. So we may have to find a different alternative. Maybe, I know Facebook cut that down a year or so ago. So we'll figure out something. Maybe we'll just do it on the old National Bank talk and text line. But as long as it's viable, we're going to do it. And today's poll has to do with that question, which, as I said, we'll get to at 9:35. After the most recent mass shooting, school shooting at a school in Tennessee, some of the debate on gun violence has turned to the question of the relationship between mental illness and gun ownership. Should we have stronger laws on the books when it comes to mental health? Give you a few choices. No, not the cause. Yes, save lives. Number 3, it's the guns always. Or comments, and I've already got half a dozen comments, and almost 200 votes, so well done you. That's our 9:35 topic. But I want to start with something that I didn't get a chance really to talk about much yesterday other than a brief mention. And it's the big announcement about the Microsoft data center that was announced for the Foxconn site. I broke that story along with the Milwaukee Business Journal and others in the markets. Corey Hess from the Journal Sentinel, who wrote the piece that I'm going to refer to here, on the latest news on the Foxconn development site. So let me give you an overview from a former elected's perspective, now radio host, talking about something like this. The biggest misconception, and maybe this was because of the selling job by Donald Trump and former Governor Walker, that this was all about Foxconn. Well, yeah, that was the story at the beginning because that's the entity that was at play. But this was never just about Foxconn. This was a data technology corridor/hub sites, given the size of it. I think it's over 1,000 acres. And the latest piece, Microsoft piece, would be 315 acres, which is a large chunk. That's always been the long-term play. That's where the viability of the funding, the tax incremental district, or financing, if you want to use that term, TIF, that's what it relies on, to have these big companies come in with some local investment, some state dollars. That's how things happen. And somebody said to me, well, why don't they just come in? Why do we have to give them money? Because that's not how the real world works. You could almost point to any store in Wisconsin, whether it's IKEA, Northwestern Mutual in Franklin, all started with this initial aid/tax incremental district/financing. That's how this stuff happens, folks. It's an investment in the future. This is where the rubber meets the road, and this is where most people, including the NIMBYs, not in my backyard, don't understand the big picture. They like looking at fields. And to those people, I often say, you like the field so much, you and your friends get together and you purchase it. That's not how the real world works, folks. Those property owners, sometimes individuals, sometimes corporate investment companies, they get to decide with the assistance, in some cases, of a local community. So what are we talking about here? Well, it sounds like it's a data center. What does that mean? We're not sure yet. Other than a massive investment in dollars, $1 billion project 315-acre parcel in Mount Pleasant. 855-616-1620 if you'd like to join the conversation, by the way. Old National Bank talk and text line. Is there heartburn? Is there pain? Every major development has all of these things. And often it lingers for a long time, whether it's a business park, whether it's a retail development. There's always some people that don't want to sell, and sometimes you build around them, sometimes you don't. You make them an offer, as they say in the movies, I make you an offer you can't refuse. That's the reality, folks. I understand there's a group of the population in any city, large or small, who kind of likes it the way it is. But the hard reality